Our story today is a true one. It happened a long time ago. My name's Anna, the keeper of your secrets. If you've got a story you want to bring to light, send me a message on Instagram. The link's in my bio.
Now, let's begin. She looked kind. Soft features, gentle smile, a calm voice that made you believe she was the perfect grandma. But the truth? That was just a mask, hiding something dark, darker than anyone could ever imagine. People saw her as this sweet old lady who opened her home to the needy, to the elderly, the homeless, anyone life had turned its back on. But no one knew that the house they stepped into for comfort was actually the same house they'd never walk out of again. It all started back in 1988 in Sacramento, California. There was this guy named Alvaro Montoya, a quiet man with a physical disability and schizophrenia. No real family, no real home. All he wanted was a peaceful life away from the streets. But because of his mental state, every care home turned him away. No one wanted to take responsibility for him. Then came a kind-hearted social worker. She tried everything to help him. She called around, begged for someone to take him in, until she finally found a woman named Dorothea Puente. Dorothea was known for opening her home to people no one else wanted. An elderly woman with a soft voice, always cooking for her tenants, treating them like her own children. People in the neighborhood called her the guardian angel of the elderly. When the social worker asked if she'd take Alvaro, Dorothea smiled and said, "Don't you worry, sweetheart. I'll take care of him like he's my own son. God bless you." Her words sounded so sincere, no reason to doubt her. So the social worker left, feeling relieved. But a month later, when she tried to check in on Alvaro, she got a very strange answer. Dorothea had told her that Alvaro had gone to Mexico to visit some friends. That didn't make any sense. Alvaro? Traveling to Mexico? He could barely walk on his own, and he didn't have any friends. Something was off. The social worker didn't buy it. She went straight to the police and filed a missing persons report. When the cops showed up at Dorothea's house, everything seemed normal. Fresh baked bread smelled from the kitchen, and there she was, smiling sweetly, hands folded like a caring grandma. They asked about Alvaro, and she calmly repeated the same thing. "Oh yes, he went to Mexico for a while. He'll be back soon." Even one of her tenants confirmed her story. Everything seemed fine. Until that same tenant pulled one of the officers aside, his face pale, and handed him a small folded note. He whispered, trembling, "She made me say that." The officer opened the note quietly, and what he read changed everything. He looked around the yard and noticed something odd. Freshly turned soil in the garden, like someone had been digging recently. He didn't say a word, but he knew they'd have to come back. This time, with shovels. The next day, they returned. Dorothea greeted them at the door, still smiling. "Of course, officers. Go ahead and dig. The house is yours." She even handed them a shovel and a pickaxe herself, then went upstairs, sipping her coffee, watching them from the window. And then, the first shovel hit the dirt. A strange, heavy smell rose from the ground, thick, suffocating. They dug deeper, until they saw something grayish-white, something that looked like bones. Silence. Someone finally said, This looks like a body." The world froze. No one could believe it. The sweet old lady? A killer? But that was just the beginning. The place turned into chaos. Detectives, forensic teams, news vans outside the house, and Dorothea? She was still calm. One officer told her, "Ma'am, why don't you sit inside while we continue digging?" She smiled. "Sure, honey, but I think I'll have my coffee outside. The air's a bit stuffy in there." They let her, but she never came back. She'd vanished. Meanwhile, the digging continued. One body, then another, then another. Rotting corpses buried one over the other. A neighbor admitted he'd helped Dorothea bury trash bags in the yard before. She'd told him it was old junk from the elderly. When he pointed out where he dug, they found 5 more bodies. 7 bodies total. One of them was Alvaro Montoya. All killed the same way. The hunt for Dorothea was all over the news. Her face on every TV screen, every newspaper. And then, one day in a bar down in Los Angeles, a guy looked up at the TV, saw her picture, then slowly turned his head and realized she was sitting right next to him. He called the cops. Minutes later, she was arrested. The mask finally fell.
During the investigation, police found out Dorothea had a long criminal record. Fraud, theft, forgery. She'd been to prison before. She picked her victims carefully. The elderly, the sick, the ones with no families. People no one would notice missing. She'd drug them, kill them quietly, bury them in her yard, then keep cashing their Social Security checks. But the creepiest part, she wasn't even as old as she pretended to be. She claimed she was 75. Turns out, she was only 59. She dyed her hair gray, wore big glasses, and played the part of a weak old lady, so no one would ever suspect her. Forensics confirmed all the bodies had the same drug in their system, a sedative she'd been buying with her own prescription. When they asked her how she managed to kill all those people, she'd just smile and say, "I didn't kill anyone. They just died." She never confessed, never showed a hint of remorse, and she never told where she'd hidden the heads of her victims, which to this day have never been found. Dorothea Puente was sentenced to life in prison, where she lived quietly until she died in 2011. Peaceful, just like the way she killed. No tears, no fear, no guilt. But her story leaves one question behind. How many people around us wear the mask of an angel while hiding the heart of a demon? How many sweet smiles hide something truly evil underneath?